Hello YouTube, it's me, Brono98, and this is part of, well, I'm going to film this over 2 different days, but this is probably the final upgrade to the Mac Pro for the foreseeable future. What's going to be upgraded? Well, the RAM. Currently I have 12 gigs, I'll put a little picture there. I've got 16 more right here. I'm going to get it up to 28 gigs, and I'm upgrading the graphics card to a GTX 750 Ti. There's a lot of people that say, oh, why didn't you go with, well, a lot of people I work with who happen to know some computer stuff happen to say, why didn't you go for like a 960 or 970? Mainly price and the fact that it's going to be better than the 8800 GT is at animations and video editing and gaming. So if it's better than what I got, I'm going to be happy with it. So, in this part, before I film the other one, we're just upgrading the RAM. I don't have the graphics card at the moment. So, let's go ahead and we'll come back once I get to Mac Pro on the desk. Alright, so I know I'm probably going to block some lighting. We got it up here on the desk. So let's go ahead and pop the side panel. As you guys can see, it gets dusty fast. I just dusted this like a week ago. Not even a week ago. But as you can see, there's the 8800 GT sitting there. It's dusty glory. I got a 120 gig SSD, 2 terabyte Western Digital Black, and a 320 gig Seagate, I think, the original hard drive. So, yeah, let's go ahead and pull out the RAM riser cards. This is the one thing I love the most about the Mac Pro, is that all the RAM is on these cards. And they're insanely easy to upgrade. As you can see, the Apple RAM is really dusty. It's the one thing I haven't dusted. Now, as you can see here, these two are Hynix brand RAMs, 667 megahertz, while the Apple RAM is 800 megahertz. Now, obviously, it's all going to run at 667. That's its cap, thanks to these two. The only reason I didn't go for 800 megahertz RAM is because it's a lot more expensive there on eBay. I got this for $18, 16 gigs. OWC RAM upgrade for this is $1,000. So, that's just 16 gigs. I'm about to have 28 in this thing. I just gotta figure out where's the tape. You know, I'm gonna just slide out the anti-static bag. These should be 4 gig sticks. HP server RAM. Just what these are, I believe. Same spec and everything. Let's just go ahead and start upgrading. So, as you can see, all 4 slots are populated, or all 8 slots are populated. So let's go ahead. Now these, I believe, are, it doesn't make a difference which one you plug it into, but I might be wrong. Now, obviously, the Apple RAM that's in there is 2 gigs a piece. And all this Hynix server RAM is 8 gigs. Or not 8 gigs, 4 gigs a piece. Making it 28 gigs. Otherwise I'd have 32 if they were all 4 gig sticks. Which you might eventually get, but definitely not in this year. So, for now, shutting it up until I get my graphics card. We'll be back. Alright guys, so after a little bit of testing, found out 2 slots on that riser card down there are dead. Granted, I swapped them, by the way, just testing. 2 slots are dead. So the max RAM I have right now is 20 gigs. Unless I replace those 2 gig sticks, which I think I'll do, just to test. So, but yeah, that's all it does. So I'm going to shut this off, if I can get my fat finger to do so. There we go. Let me show you guys. These two slots right here at the front, slot 3 and 4, are the dead slots. They are not reading. I have no idea if that is a fault of mine or a fault of the machines, as I had never tested it before. But as this, it gets 20 gigs when I put this in. So I'm going to swap out those 2 sticks of Apple RAM, and if it boots, then I will no longer... I can't do anything about it. This RAM ran hot to begin with, the Apple ones, so not too surprised there. It's not too bright on me to have done any work on this machine. Something tells me it might be that RAM. Oh no, sweet. So, presumably if that RAM works, we'll see 24 gigs. Let's hope. And then I just gotta worry about, well, I don't even really have to worry. It's just 2 slots that are completely dead. I noticed the machine is loading things up a lot faster. I don't know if that's a side effect. There we go. So I will put this figure on screen just so you might see it in clarity. 24 gigs. And thanks to 2 dead RAM slots, that's all I can ever have in this machine. Unless I got 8 gig sticks, and that's a little too pricey for me. So there we go, guys. 24 gigs of RAM and a 2008 Mac Pro. I say, overall, not too shabby. Alright, so about 2 days later, and we are back at it again with the upgrades. So, as you guys can maybe see, I actually do have some stickers on the machine at the moment. Sticker there. And we also have a Razer sticker. So, let's go ahead and open up the case here. So again, as before, it's very simple. We just put the latch, and the door comes right off. So, we're going to be focusing in on that right there. The 8800 GT. Some light. We're going to be replacing that with this. The EVGA GTX 750 Ti. Now, as most upgrades are for these machines, it's very easy. And almost no tools required. I will have to use some screwdrivers on these thumb screws here. Should I bracket off? And now on these cards, I have to get down here. On these cards, there's a power required. On the GTX 750 Ti, I don't believe that there's a power requirement. It gets all its power from the PCI Express slot. So all we have to do is unplug the power from the card as well as the motherboard. So, usually there's a little thing, but I think mine's broken off. Release for the graphics card. So there we go. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull the graphics card out of the bubble wrap here. This is a gigantic anti-static bag. But yeah, caution. We see some rubber covering up the PCI Express lane there. There was plastic covering the entire card, and some port covers. Obviously, we need to remove said port covers and the PCI lane protection before we can install it. But we also need to remove one more of these little blanks. I just removed two by accident. So that we have proper ventilation. Alright, so now I'm handheld here. There's the card installed, since I kind of screwed up and didn't show you installing it. And here in the back, we've got the I/O, which is dual-link DVI, HDMI, and DisplayPort 1.4. So I'll be back once I got this thing plugged back into the setup. Alright, now it's time for boot up. Now, unlike a Mac graphics card, this will not display the Apple boot screen, because I don't have it flashed. I mean, I could flash it if there's a available graphics card BIOS for Mac for this card, but it's not needed at the moment. Whoa, I don't hear a bunch of fans spinning up. It's a little weird. I guess that was just a graphics card fan before, and this one's just so quiet. Of course, we're not going to see anything until it boots into OS X. I have installed the EVGA driver for the web driver. It's way here. And as you can see, EVGA web driver, open device driver. Alright, we also have EVGA CUDA installed. There is an update available, so I'll go ahead and download it. Alright, so go ahead and agree to all this. So let's just see, some animations seem a lot smoother. And of course I will run some benchmarks. As you can see, it does detect it as the EVGA, I forget which button here is my zoom, there we go. The EVGA Geforce GTX 750 Ti, 2047 megabyte, so 2 gig. You can see it's a VE228 display, which is my Asus monitor. So it is in fact working perfectly fine. Now of course I've got to boot into Windows 10 and install the driver updates for that. So yeah. So we'll be back once I get some benchmarks going.
As you can see, the GTX 750 Ti scored a 35.46 frames per second in the OpenGL test. Now really that's not a whole lot better than the 8800 GT, but where this card really does shine is in gaming performance and video editing. Alright, first off is Grand Theft Auto 4, which is widely known as the most unoptimized game in our current era. But even with that, I still think this is respectable frames considering how unoptimized this game is. Even though the lowest it dropped, I think, was 17 frames per second during a somewhat of a cutscene, I guess. It was where the passenger got out of the cab. But yeah, and all these games were recorded with NVIDIA Shadowplay.
Accident. I don't need a gun to fuck you up.
Hey, where are you going? Hello?
That's unit from OV.
Fuck you! Last guy that did that is doing time.
Come collect the car from the depot. Go to Bohen Industrial to pick them up, cousin. They need to get to Steinway.
Calculating route. In 50 yards. Turn left. Turn left. You have arrived.
Shit! Move it along, Asco!
Serio, semi-auto! Watch it! Come on, I gotta keep moving!
Also, as a side note, this game couldn't even run on the 8800 GT. Like, it would seriously crash every time I launched it. So, yeah. Also, the game is recorded on a boot camp partition of Windows 10, which is recognizing all 24 gigs of RAM and the GTX 750 Ti without any problems. So,
My car!
I know how to use this, you know. Want to step out and
That's
spread. I've done my bit for Bellic Enterprises, cousin.
Nico, you make my life so much easier. Thank you! Call me if you want more work.
Where'd it go? What's going on?
and here is Saints Row the Third. Now this game on the 8800 GT averaged around 20 to 25 frames a second, and even though the FPS counter isn't on the screen, despite me recording with it set to be on, you'll have to take my word for it. This game usually stayed around the mid to high 40s and 50s on the frames per second counter. So I'm really impressed with how this game performs. And of course I'll show the graphics settings near the end of the clip.
Alright, so as you guys can see, gameplay is pretty darn good, especially considering this was a budget card. And video editing, pretty much the same. This entire video was edited using this card, as well as the iPhone SE unboxing and the rendered intro, which is, you guys could see, was rendered in 1080p, 60 frames a second. So, I've been pretty impressed with this card so far. So that's pretty much it, guys. The big upgrades of 2016 pretty much done and dusted. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.